For me, I didn't realize what being a daughter, what the identity of being a daughter was. And so
Mm.
I found my identity in being helpful.
Mm.
I got praise for being helpful. I got smiles for being helpful. I got what I felt like was love for being helpful. I'm a helper's helper. I'm a servant at heart, and we all should be, right? But there has to be a stopping point when you are helping, when you are serving. There's an ending point. There's a deadline. There's a completion to that serving. But for me, it was always a running list of things, and I would check stuff off, but then I would let people, or I would even look for things that I could add to my to-do list because I found my identity in being helpful or being a
That is,
servant.
you see, I can see how, okay, my identity came from being helpful. As long as I was helpful, I was getting the praise. So therefore, as the more I help, the more praise I get, the more people see me, the better I feel, all of those things. And now, what are you wearing? The cape.
And that cape I have you doing some of everything. It
See?
really will.
Hey, it's your girl Dorcas, and welcome back to the Dorcas Pittman Podcast, where I am on this journey of empowering her to drop the cape and heal for real. This is the space where courage, clarity, and strategy meets real healing. So I know something looks a little bit different today, and that's because I want to invite you to Her Talk. Yes, Her Talk is a series that I'm doing once a month where I'm inviting an amazing woman who has chosen to drop her cape, and she's going to share her journey with you. And so we're just going to have conversation. We're going to talk. Okay, of course, I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask questions. But I'm so excited about this new addition to the Dorcas Pittman podcast, because if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know I love empowering women, bringing them on my platform, allowing them the opportunity to share their stories. But when I transitioned to the Dorcas Pittman podcast, God needed me to show you guys me. So that's why I've been showing up for the last 6 months, just me. Well, 7 months, just me. But He gave me the permission. He told me, I need you to start back. And I said, God, what does that look like? He said, Her Talk. Yes, she is healed, she is empowered, and she is restored. And it's time to talk about it. So, last week, I introduced this new series called Drop the Cape When Empowerment Becomes Pressure. And we talked about the Everything Woman cape and how many of us went from believing that we can do it all to believing that we had to do it all. So today I'm continuing the conversation with this amazing woman right here. She's done the work. She's going to talk about laying down her own cape. And it's not because she has it all figured out. It's because she has chosen to heal, and her story reminds all of us that it's possible. So now that I've said all of that, I want to introduce you to my sister, and I'm so glad that to have her with me as I kick off her talk. So Dena Bruton, aka the
Not my
Beauty
whole
Architect,
name.
aka I love it. That's what sisters do. She's the big sister. I'm the little sister, but she always call me mama. But I want you to take a moment and introduce yourself to the listeners.
Okay, well, hey everybody. I'm Dena. And what I do is, first of all, I try to get on Dorcas' nerves by calling her mom as often as possible. But outside of that, um, I help women through beauty. And I mostly do that online, teaching women how to create their signature look. I'm working mostly with middle-aged Black women, women that are in that kind of transition of life and just ready to do something a little different. And a lot of times they just haven't ever had a makeup routine or no one taught them to do their makeup. So, um, yeah, my job is to make it simple and easy and make it fun. So that's mostly what I do.
And I will not allow her to ignore the fact that she is the founder and creator of Reveal
True,
Cosmetics.
true. I am the founder and the creator of Reveal Cosmetics. I absolutely love being able to provide women with color cosmetics that are gentle to the skin, that they are professional grade. Um, and we have a really, really great shade range so that all women feel taken care of. Um, so yeah. Mhm. And I'm also the
Okay.
beauty editor of Women of Hope magazine. So
Yes, you
that's
are.
it's been a really, 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 really fun ride, and there's plenty of other stuff that I could say, but we're gonna stop there.
So I wanted her I didn't want to gloss over the fact that she is the founder and creator of Reveal Cosmetics because that is her brand. That is a part of her brand. She created that because of something that she had going on with her own skin. And so she wanted not only something for herself but something for other black women. So she is a makeup artist. She's a beauty architect. She has her own beauty brand, her cosmetics line, and she is a fashion editor. So she has all of those titles. She is all of those things, but she is also God's daughter. So I want you, before we jump into the conversation, I want you to use one word that describes the woman you are today.
Oh,
Thinking about everything you just said, one word that describes the woman you are today. And we're going to go back to
open,
that one word.
open,
Open.
open,
Open.
hmm
Wow. I love that.
open.
So I now want you to imagine yourself. I
Okay.
want you to imagine yourself wearing the cape that you used to wear. Now, you
East.
don't have to tell us what it looked like.
Hmm.
You don't, just picture it.
Okay.
Picture the feel of it, the how, like, all everything about it. And the reason why I'm asking you to picture it, because by the end of this conversation, I hope every woman listening can see herself taking her cape off too. Taking her cape off too.
I can actually tell you what it used to look like if you want me to tell you. I'm not I'm not opposed to
We're
that.
gonna get there.
Okay. Okay. I can see
We're
it
gonna
so
get
clearly
there.
in my mind.
So, but that's the great thing about it. You can vividly see it in your mind. Because here's the thing, because you can see it and you can describe it, you know that it was there and that you took
Yeah.
it off. There
Yeah.
are a lot of women, if I ask them to describe the cape, they don't know, they can't do that. They can't do that because one, they aren't aware that they're wearing the cape.
Right.
You took it off. So you became aware that it was there. So you can describe the feel of it, the even the smell of it, the sound of it, all of those things. And that is why I wanted you to describe it. I mean, I wanted you to imagine yourself because when as we have this conversation, the women who are listening, something's going to click and they're going to say, the problem is the cape. Because now they're going to become aware that they're wearing the cape.
Yeah.
See, that's the disconnect. Why many women stay stuck because they don't even know that the cape exists. It has
Right.
been there for so long, it has become a part of who they are. But once you become aware of it, that's when you can choose to take it off.
Absolutely.
So let's start the conversation. When you hear the phrase the everything woman cape, what comes to mind?
Oh, me, a past version of me. Um, Listen, I'm a mama. I'm no longer in a long-term relationship, but I've been that girl too. Business owner, but still had a 9 to 5. Um, trying to drink her gallon of water and go to the gym. Trying to do all the things, be at church and help out and serve in whatever way or capacity that I can. Um, I'm a mother of 4. Thank you, Jesus. They are all big people now, but there was a point where I had 4 small people, mama, 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 all day. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a niece. Um, I've now become a grandmother. I mean, it's not too many different things as a woman that I have not um been or am not currently doing. And sometimes we pile all that stuff on ourselves and we're trying to fill every role for everybody instead of being who God wants us to be and who we need to be for ourselves. And so, yeah, that was your girl.
And you just named pretty much the entire population: mom, wife, grandmother, entrepreneur, 9 to 5preneur, uh, I mean, everything to everybody else. Everything to everybody else. That's what the everything woman cape looks like. Everything to everybody else. But the difference maker is when you're wearing the everything woman cape, like you said, you're everything to everybody else but what you need to be to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Your needs go unmet in every shape and form. Um, so much so, being a hairstylist, standing behind a chair and being a makeup artist, I would hear different conversations and then I would hear myself in the conversation and they don't even know that they talking about me to me because they're talking about what they're dealing with. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not the only one that's doing all this stuff. And sometimes those conversations can make you feel like it's normal to do all those
Mm.
things because you're hearing somebody else doing it and making it sound like it's normal. And that's just all you should expect. But just realizing that there should be time and place and a space for Dena. Um,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes one thing that I somebody said to me as far as like being in the beauty industry, like eventually you're gonna get burned out. Eventually you're gonna I'm not burned out. I absolutely love what I do. I've pivoted, I've changed. Um, but I never got burned out. And a lot of times when women experience a burnout, it's literally all those things. It's not just the job or just the business or just taking care of your husband or just it's all that stuff. It's the stuff that we don't speak about. It's the stuff that we
Mm-hmm.
ignore. We act like it doesn't exist. And that's what I was gonna say when you brought up some women not even realizing that they have on a cape. Some of them don't believe it exists. They will not identify with it because they're just saying it's not there. And so just not
Or it's
knowing,
normal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But even
That's the
past it
norm.
being normal, like some women just feel like, well, what is she talking about? I'm not doing all that. Girl, yes you are. Yes you are. It may look a little different sometimes for a woman in a different stage of life, but most of us have really, really full lives. And
Mm-hmm.
I put it like this. I was doing so much to the point that my kids knew that if I sat down, I was gonna go to sleep.
Whew.
So
Yeah.
if you feel like if you're gonna sit down that you gonna doze off, then yeah, Suge, you got on the cake.
You have on a cape, and I'm a disclaimer because some people say, "Well, I'm just that's just a medical condition. That's just, stop making excuses for it. There are some people who are narcoleptic and can fall asleep as soon as they sit
Right.
down. But
Right.
also, when you are everything to everybody,
Yeah.
you're going, going, going. You're
Yep.
not resting. Your mind is constantly turning to the point where whenever you do sit down, your body goes into, oh, I have a moment, sleep.
Mm-hmm. And
Your
even
body
though
is
you're asleep,
basically
you're not
waiting.
resting.
Yes, you're not resting, because I'm pretty sure if you are all those things, when you sit down, you got somebody, a child, a husband, a business, or whatever it may look like. You have that waiting for you, or it's going to interrupt you at the drop of a dime. So your body is trying to fit in whatever rest it can whenever it can.
Yeah.
And
And
see,
eventually you're gonna
here's
have
the
a
thing.
shutdown.
You're going to have a shutdown, because you are doing what God did not design you to do, and that is being all things to everyone. And that's not how we're designed. Yes, like Dena has so many, she listed all of her titles. She listed every role that she has, and I'm not a grandma, but I have a 9 to 5. I'm running a magazine. I have a podcast. I am a coach. I am a mom. I am a wife. A friend. I am all of those things. But the difference is being able to operate in all those capacities, knowing that I am the common denominator,
Yeah.
knowing that I am the nucleus, the core. And if I'm taken care of, then the weight of those roles won't be heavy. And that's the difference. When you choose to take off that everything woman, Kate, you're saying that, hey, one, I'm going to take care of me. You know, our mentor, Coach Tina, said it best, not just me, but me first. And everyone says, oh, that's just selfish. It is. It is
It
self
is.
ish. Self ish. Yes, it is okay to take care of self from time to time. More than from time to time. Yes, that it is selfish, because we are the vessels who are carrying out the responsibilities that those roles have. And if the vessel is
Absolutely.
not good, what's left?
A
What's
pile
left?
of hot mess. A pile of hot
A
mess.
pile of, no, a tired, beat down pile of hot
A
mess,
mess.
who doesn't
Correct.
have the capacity to give all of those roles 100% of them.
Absolutely. And something that I learned, one thing that we have a habit of doing now. I can speak for Black women, so y'all don't. If somebody watching this and you're not a Black woman, don't think I'm speaking against whatever nationality or race that you are. I'm just talking about Black women, okay? Because I
Okay.
happen to be a Black woman. Um, we can sometimes feel like the world, which a lot of things are, placed upon us to fix. But because someone decides to hand us a problem, doesn't mean we have to receive it. And a lot of times, because we identify with being helpful, we keep piling all this stuff on us, and it's not serving us. It's not even serving the people that we're trying to serve by doing whatever it is they want us to do. Because sometimes people just need to learn how to take care of themselves or do certain things for themselves. One thing that I watch my oldest daughter do, she has two boys now, and she's like, I'm gonna get my rest. And I just be like,
Unapologetically.
you gonna get your rest. You a mom with two toddlers. And she be like, and I'm gonna get my rest. And I'm like, you know what? I can't even I shouldn't get mad at her. I should applaud her. But that part of me, that's something that was ingrained into me. Like, hey, your kids are small. You're gonna have to do this. You're gonna always be tired. I just think that that's a trash way of thinking. You're gonna always be tired. So you can't never get
No.
enough sleep that you wake up and you're fully awake and fully aware and fully together. Like I just but I'm still working on that. even though I don't have small children anymore. But that's a lot of what we see and what we model and what we've been taught, which is why we feel like we have to do all these things and be everything to all people. And can I tell you, the people that we be being all the things for, they don't do that.
They
They don't
they
do
don't,
that.
or they do it differently. See, here's the thing, and here's the thing. So when you allow people to do that, when you're everything to everybody and they know that,
Yeah.
it's not, if they can dump on you, they're gonna dump on you. Wanna know why? Especially as women, especially as black women, they have been everything to everybody else, so they need a dumping. They need somebody to dump on. They need to pull on somebody else because they don't have it. So that is how it becomes generational. That is how it becomes, that is how that empowerment, the question that this series is all about, at
Hmm.
what point did empowerment becomes pressure? Because that empowerment that we once had, oh, be a strong black woman, be, you have to do all the things and be all the things, that was once empowerment. That is once them empowering you to be the best that you can be, to be all the things, to be great. But then that's
Right.
when the pressure comes. And that leads me to my next question. Was there a message or belief or even a song that convinced us that we had to wear the cape? And I know last episode I talked about I'm every woman. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I can do naturally. Like that song, that's the first song that came to mind because yes, that was a song of empowerment, but also if we really think about that song was a piece of the puzzle that took us from I can be to I have to be.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so, was there a belief or message that you grew up on, or that a song that you grew up hearing, or songs that you grew up hearing that said, you know what, I have to wear this cape?
Um, I think that there wasn't a particular song that I grew up on. For me, I didn't realize what being a daughter, what the identity of being a daughter was. And so
Mm.
I found my identity in being helpful.
Mm.
I got praise for being helpful. I got smiles for being helpful. I got what I felt like was love for being helpful. And so if your identity is and I used to do this, and so if this ain't you, it ain't you, but it's gonna be somebody. Um, will say, I love to serve. I'm a helper's helper. I'm a servant at heart, and we all should be, right? But there has to be a stopping point when you are helping, when you are serving. There's an ending point. There's a deadline. There's a completion to their serving. But for me, it was always a running list of things, and I would check stuff off, but then I would let people, or I would even look for things that I could add to my to-do list because I found my identity in being helpful or being a
That is
servant.
so good. That is so good because the Bible tells us that Jesus did not come to to be served. He came to serve. And
Mm-hmm.
therefore we are to be servants to the kingdom. So I'm so glad you brought that up because for two reasons. One, I can see how as Christians, as goers, as once religious people, well, the Bible says serve. But also on the flip side is you said I didn't know what my identity. I didn't know what God's daughter, what that identity looked like. So therefore, I know I'm supposed to serve, and I get smiles, I get atta girls, I get all the things when I'm helpful. And last week on the podcast, I made a statement is about, is it, did God call me to this, or was my need to be needed pull me into this. You see, I can see how, okay, my identity came from being helpful. As long as I was helpful, I was getting the praise. So therefore, as the more I help, the more praise I get, the more people see me, the better I feel,
Yeah.
all of those things. And now, what are you wearing? The cape.
Yeah. And that cape will have you doing some of everything. It really
Me.
will. It'll have you doing things that you are not equipped to do, or trying to do things that you are not equipped to do. I I remember when I was asked to be a speaker for this event. This has been over 10 years ago. And I was so excited. I think that this lady could see my desperation. I
Mm.
She asked me would I pick her up. Now how I'm gonna be the speaker and I got to pick you up. And then she was like, "Well, I don't know what we're gonna do about the food. The catering fell off. They fell off. Or I don't know. I'll make something, girl. How you gonna feed the people? Be the speaker, have a vending table, set everything up, break everything down, and look fabulous doing all of this. It's crazy. But when you feel that you need to be needed and you don't want, and then the other thing that I don't want them to go without because I know how that feels. Well,
Ooh.
they're gonna go without at some point. You ain't gonna be able to fix it all the time, sure. So if you're supposed to do something, do that. But sometimes I would just put myself into things that I ain't had no business. I couldn't even cook good back then, and I'm up here trying to make enough food for all the guests, honey. And I think it was about it was about 75, 80 people. Yeah, done. I'm not a caterer. That's not my ministry. I made sure everybody ate that night, but I was stressed. I was stressed and I was
Listen.
stretched.
Whoo. Listen. Listen. You just described a whole lot of people. You just described a whole lot of people who are wearing this everything woman cape. And
And I'm
even
sure
though we look at it, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and while I'm talking about like one incident or one situation, I'm sure that somebody can look at a part of their life and say, yeah, I be doing
Amazing.
everything over there. I wash the dishes, I cook the meals, I do the this and I do the that, and I go here and I go like there's a we most of us have an area of our lives where we are very heavily how do I want to say it? We moving. We moving. We're real active in a particular part of our life. Meaning we have to do all the things in that part of our life. And I just feel like if you there's certain things we have to do, but then sometimes we just take on too much, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. So if I feel bad, I need to take my hind part to the doctor. Now, if you're a nurse, you might be able to diagnose yourself. You're a doctor, you may be able to diagnose yourself. But that's not my area of expertise. So instead of us staying in our lane, doing the things we need to do and staying in our area of expertise, and when I say expertise, I don't mean it has to actually be a profession. Some people are amazing homemakers. And everything is
Mhm.
pristine and they love doing that. Okay. That's not my area of expertise. Now I can learn from somebody like that, but I'm not gonna have everything
But
organized and everything looking, just real laid out in a cute arrangement or whatever. So I can take some things from that person, but me trying to go and do what they do, it's gonna be
yeah.
disastrous.
And the thing about it is, like you're right. Everyone has their thing that they're good at, but the problem becomes when, like you said, you're trying to do everything you're good at, but also do everything else that God didn't call you to do.
That part
And
there, right
that's
there.
where
Mhm.
that's where you enter a dangerous, because I know people who are great homemakers, but even in being a great homemaker, they're not everything to everybody. Everyone still has their role to play, and they still know how to say no. And that's where you have to, that comes in when you choose to take off the cape. No becomes easy. No, I'm not the end all be all. Even with my kids, even in the role of as a mom, I have to show them and be the example that no, mommy needs time. I'm not everything to everybody. Don't make me your everything. Don't be totally dependent on me to do
Yeah,
everything. You have to learn. And I'm teaching them how to say no in that capacity too. But that's the thing. God gives us individual gifts and talents. Lean into that. God didn't tell us to do everything for everybody
yeah,
and be everything to everybody. And that's where it gets heavy. That's where the burnout comes in. That's where your identity is solely construed because, like you said before, your belief that being a helper, your identity was shaped from, okay, if I help, if I serve, then I'm getting the accolades, I'm getting the atta girls, people see me.
yeah.
And because of that, which probably came from something else that was deeper rooted, we ain't gonna get on that because right then the coaching, the that coaching had flipped on. But that your identity was shaped, and in that you picked up, you literally, as a little girl, put on that cape. And
Absolutely.
the older you got, and the more you had the capacity to do, that cape grew with you.
Yeah. And it got
And
heavier.
and yep, and because it grew with you, it was your identity.
Yeah.
So, what did wearing that cape cost you?
Ooh, it cost me opportunities.
Mm.
It cost me peace at times. It cost me my health at times. It cost me a lot of money. Listen. When we doing too much and we not paying attention like we should, we be done handed out some money we shouldn't have handed out. Spent some money we shouldn't have spent. Let me see, can I think of anything else? Um, at one point it cost me trusting myself.
Mm.
Because if you continue on that path, long enough, you'll start to realize that you didn't make the best decision. And you may not know why you didn't make the best decision, but you know you're the one that made it. And so then when you start thinking about it happening over and over again, you kind of be, nobody comes out and says, girl, that, get yourself together. You kind of have to work through mistrusting yourself. And I hadn't done that at that point. I really um thought that's what I deserved.
Wow. 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 That was, it cost you your identity.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see myself as a daughter. I saw myself as a multi-purpose person. And we get a good feeling from being helpful and from serving, and I think I also was addicted to that feeling too.
Mm.
And so whether
Mm.
someone else acknowledged what I did, it made me feel good to know that I cleaned up the bathroom at church and nobody asked me to. If somebody get paid to do that, but it was a little messy, so I'm gonna go in and clean it up. Or they asked for a volunteer for something that I ain't had no business doing with the kids at school or whatever. We can
Gave you
get
value.
addicted to that feeling. We can get addicted to that feeling of feeling helpful, whether somebody else asked us to or not, or feel like people are gonna benefit
Yeah.
from it or not. Well, I'm gonna just go on and do it. We can do that and not be preserving ourselves the way that we should. I'm not saying we shouldn't help and we shouldn't do things, but sometimes we take it too far and we're not preserving ourselves and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. And like I said, it's okay to serve. God wants us to serve each other, and iron sharpens iron, all those things. But when you're serving from a place of
Emptiness.
the need,
Yeah.
emptiness,
Yeah.
thank you for giving me that word. You're serving from emptiness. You're serving from a place of that being your sole identity. You're serving from a place of that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Serving from a place of accolade.
Yeah.
Serving from a place of mistaken identity.
That part. That part.
And so the cape that you started wearing as a little girl from being helpful became very heavy as an adult because it shaped your identity. It cost you your identity. And because it cost you your identity, it affected your peace. It affected your health. It affected your pocket and all the above.
Yeah.
That cape, the everything woman cape.
Yeah.
And one thing I can tell you that I've learned is that the cape usually isn't the problem at all. Because at one point in our lives, it protected us. It protected us from not being seen. It protected us from pain. It protected us from feeling worthless. It protected us from not being valued. It helped us survive some very dark times. But the question is, how do you know when to take the cape off?
I think for me, it took different conversations with people that cared about me and just replaying some of those conversations of things that I thought were normal, and then I realized, oh, no, that's not. I think little by little, some of those types of conversations helped me to realize I needed to take off the cape. Um, there were times that I just was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I couldn't blame anybody
That is,
but me. And that's when I didn't know how to take the cape off. But that's when I realized I needed to take the cape off. Um,
mm,
yeah. Yeah, but I think that's probably the bigger one. Um, just looking at things that I want to accomplish, looking at where I'm at with certain relationships and feeling like um I kind of want to see things shift a little bit in certain relationships, whether it be um, family relationships, romantic relationships, or even work relationships. Because listen, that's one place still people would break you down and wear you out and let you do their job and her job and her job and her job and his job too, if you let them. So just looking at things that I wanted to be different, um I would say that I probably looked at lives of women that I was connected to and the areas that they were growing in. And sometimes people will say, well, you shouldn't be comparing. But sometimes you got to look at other people's lives, people that are doing better than you, people that have more than you, whether it be financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever. Looking at that and saying, I want that, or I want more of that, or to be more like that. Not saying you want to take over that person's life. Looking at that and kind of looking at what I was dealing with and where I was, that kind of helped me realize too, like, yeah, you ain't got to do this. That may have been what you needed to do for a season, so that you could learn, so that you could grow. But that's not what you're supposed to continue doing now. This is different. This is new. Um, so yeah, I think just reflecting, um, and yeah, being sick and tired of my, whatever situation I was in or circumstance I was in, um, definitely helped me at times to take that cape off.
Yeah. And what I hear is that you wanted more for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wanted more for you. And in community, and just listening to your answer and your response, all I heard was community. Getting in community with people and seeing what freedom looks like,
Yeah,
and then allowing them to sharpen you and empower you, that
absolutely.
it's okay. It's okay to not be everything to everyone. And a lot of times women, other women just need that permission from another woman. Girl, it
Absolutely.
is okay not to be everything to everyone, because I'm the queen of no. I can't do that. Mm-mm. I
And
don't have the
she is.
capacity to do.
Mm,
Nope. That's not in my repertoire right now. But that wasn't me. That wasn't always me. I can identify with the everything woman cape. I had that cape on too. I would drive from this side of town to that side of town. I need to be here for this. I need to be here for that. Hey, I felt some type of way if I didn't support everybody or be a part of everything, and that was mistaken identity, because that's what the cape is. The cape is a mistaken identity, and you
yeah,
said it, Dena. I didn't understand my identity as a daughter.
yeah,
As a daughter. And so you being in community, God putting you in community, and you seeing the freedom that other women have to move,
yeah,
not to say that their lives were great behind closed doors, but what God allowed you to see was enough for you to realize that I can't move and do what God called me to do because I'm heavy. I'm
yeah.
heavy because I'm wearing this cape around my neck that
Hmm.
God never told me to carry in the first place.
Yeah. I think too, as believers, we're taught to be humble. And
That falls to me.
doing all the things that I
I'm
was
sorry. I
doing,
wrote.
wearing the cape, I just thought that made me humble. And that's not what that is. That's not what that is at all.
Mm,
And so I think sometimes, certain attributes that we feel we should have as believers or as women, um, we definitely we haven't defined those things properly. We haven't defined those attributes or those characteristics properly. And so when we mislabel them, that's another reason that, we may put that cape on and then say, I don't want that no more, but then keep picking it up. And then, and then we may go a while doing pretty good. And then, well, I should just let me help them. And no, girl, take that cape off and burn it.
She said burn it.
Burn it.
She said burn it.
Don't fold it up in the drawer. Don't wash it on delicate. Burn it and get rid of it, because you don't need a cape when you're covered. Okay.
Ooh, all right.
And I'm
All right.
a
You don't
daughter,
need a
so
cape when you're
I'm covered.
covered.
You don't need a cape when you're
You
covered.
don't need a cape.
So yeah, just go and get rid of it. Don't give it to nobody else. Don't take it to the lost and found. Don't give it to the Goodwill. Just go on and make sure that you don't put it on no more. And when you see a woman or another person putting on the cape, tell her don't put that cape on, girl, because
Don't do that. And
you might not,
say
it might be a while before you figure out how to take it off. So just don't put it on. And I see you getting ready to put it on, so don't put it on.
I love that. And I'm going to say this. Don't ask anybody else to take it off for you. You need to take it off yourself.
That part.
Because when you ask somebody else to take it off, girl, take this cape off of me. You don't understand. You don't feel the weight of the cape. I want to say you feel the weight of the cape, but you don't get to experience the transition from the weight, from you physically taking off the cape, because then you're going to be waiting for somebody else to take it off for you. But no, God wants you to take the cape off yourself and deal with it, because you probably got some old capes you got to deal with too. And God he doesn't want you to be reliant on other people taking it off, because you have the power and authority to take your own cape off. He said, hey, come to me, those who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
Yeah.
Lay it at his altar, lay it at his feet. He wants you to take it off. He wants you to take it off. And that's the ultimate goal. And by you taking off the everything woman cape, you are denouncing the identity of that cape.
Yeah.
And you're saying, God, I want to fully walk into my identity as a daughter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then some of the things that we have felt were beyond our reach. We have the capacity for, because we've taken those capes off. We've taken off being everything to everyone all the time. Listen, it don't make no sense that I used to own a whole salon, and my hair won't never combed. Now, for the most part, it is true that the hairstylist in the salon, that her hair ain't done, she normally be the one that's fired. And that is true. That is absolutely positively true. But it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be the person that can fix somebody else's car and your car raggedy. You ain't even take time to tune your own vehicle. Like, we just be
come on now.
We just be doing some stuff that's it don't make no sense. When you say it out loud, you know it doesn't make sense. But we stay in that cycle, and we need to get out of it. It's not okay for us to live beneath when we say we're believers. It's not okay for us to live beneath. And when I say live beneath, I don't mean just what your home life is like or how much money you got. I mean in every area of your being. You shouldn't be living beneath
your authority.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be living beneath your identity. Living
Period.
beneath your authority as a child, as a daughter, as a son, no matter what it is, you should not be living beneath. And when you choose to come into agreement with the identity that these capes bring, then you're choosing to live beneath,
Yeah.
out of alignment with your identity.
Yeah.
So if there's a woman who's listening to this, who's exhausted, who's beat up, who's broken down from wearing the heavy everything woman cape, what do you want her to know?
I want her to know that she's one decision away from being a better version of herself. And once she makes that decision, then she has to get into action. At this age that I'm at, I have young adult kids, I have grandkids, but I also have elderly parents. So that keeps me right in the middle. And so I think that dropping the cape requires us to stay in the middle of the work. We have to remember what we decided we weren't going to be a part of anymore. We have to remember the things that didn't identify us that we were holding on to. And at the same time, we have to be motivated to do what's right for us and set those boundaries and make sure that we're putting ourselves on our schedule and making what the things that we need to do so that we identify correctly as a son or daughter. So we can't just look at the past and wallow and just sit there. We have to take what we know about our past and how we behaved in the past capes that we had wore, and then also actively decide to move away from that and do that continually. It's not a one and done. So you got to make the decision, but then you also got to be willing to do the work.
You're one decision away from being free to
Yeah.
do the work to become who you are created to be. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, sis, before we leave, I want to ask you one question.
Okay.
The woman, well, it's not a question. I want you to complete this sentence.
Okay.
The woman I became, the woman I became when I finally laid the cape down is.
Ready. Open. I said open earlier,
Ooh.
but ready. Sometimes we want change, but until we put down those capes, we're not really ready. It's just lip service. It's just a thought lingering in the back of our mind. It's a woulda, coulda, shoulda, until we decide that we're ready.
There she is. She said the woman she became when she finally laid down the cape is ready. I love it. And that's why these conversations matter, because healing is not just about what we survived. It's about who we become when we choose to drop the cape, when we choose to come into alignment with our God given identity. Dena, I want to thank you so much for joining me with this conversation. Thank you for your your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your journey with uh, our listeners, and thank you for being the very first guest on Her Talk. I love it. So every
Thanks for
second
having me.
Tuesday of every month, I'm gonna have another guest here on for Her Talk. And if today's conversation encouraged you, I want you to share this episode with another woman who needs permission to drop the cape, to lay it down the cape. And I always remember that to keep dropping and keep healing for real. Why? Because you are her. You are healed, you are empowered, and you are restored. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Peace.